Welcome. This is Mike Fairchild, Editor-in-Chief of HRLab.com. Today we're going to be discussing the strengths, weaknesses, capability, and viability of the Workday HR software solution. And to help me flesh out these aspects, I've brought along my colleague, the CEO of Vantive Media, Chuck Schaefer. Hey Chuck, how are you?
I'm good, Micah. How are you today?
You know what? I can't complain. So Chuck, we've had a chance to take a cursory review of Workday and our assessment of the top 10 HRMS solutions. But I'd like to go a little bit deeper in our discussion today to really get at what the competitive differences are for Workday. In essence, what separates them from the pack of all the other human resource technologies on the market. Obviously, Workday is still the HR industry's golden child in terms of media coverage, and this latest news about their IPO has certainly added some fuel to that fire. But I'm curious to get your opinion on this company and their offerings. As a person that's spent a great deal of your time developing, utilizing, and even advocating for the cloud, why don't you start off by first giving me your take on probably what I think is the most salient differentiator for Workday, which is that they are a software as a service solution.
Okay, to the SaaS aspect of Workday. First off, I think it's important to note that while Workday has one of the most compelling cloud architecture stories in the HR technology industry, they are by no means the only ones. It's really kind of disingenuous when media or pundits imply that this company somehow invented cloud HR solutions or has cornered the cloud HR software market. What they have done, though, is gotten out in front of many of their competitors in terms of delivering, stabilizing, and scaling a multi-tenant deployment model, which is no small feat and puts them a step ahead of their much larger rivals like Oracle and SAP. For me, though, a big thing that Workday has accomplished with their object-based architecture is finally addressing some of the major failure areas of legacy systems, such as attention to workflow automation, cloud integration, and unification of business intelligence with daily work and processes.
Yeah, agreed. I'd say that their idea of embedding business intelligence throughout the application is probably, for me, one of the solution's highlights. And while SAP certainly makes a strong case for in-memory analytics with HANA, it still has the feel of an afterthought, which Workday, they've got this solution that it's been built up around in-memory functionality. It just makes Workforce Insights have a more natural feel, which is something that I think has really held a number of companies back from getting a solid hold on their human capital, especially as far as strategy goes. Now, one of the other aspects that's part and parcel with Workday's cloud architecture that I think most businesses will find compelling is their speed of innovation. I think they're now up to about around 3 product releases annually, which is blisteringly fast. And by and large, that's the promise of the cloud, I think. Rapidly evolving feature sets and access without having to wait years for new functionality. What do you think?
Well, yes and no. As a person who has spent a career dealing with the various incarnations of software as a service, from the ASP era to the on-demand age and now to the cloud, it really kind of bugs me when companies tout innovation that has little to no tangible customer value. Don't get me wrong, Workday does have one of the fastest update cycles, but I wouldn't call everything they're putting out there innovation. Look, if a seasonal release for a product only fixes bugs from the last release, along with the often touted performance enhancements, that's a good thing, but it's not innovative. Not only that, but not all organizations are looking for that update frequency. Take largely contingent workforces like retail, healthcare, and manufacturing. These are industries that by and large are still looking for one-and-done implementations. It is generally helpful that Workday's update releases are automatically populated into customer solutions, and customers then have the choice of turning that new feature on or leaving it dormant. And this is a very big step up from the forklift upgrades still common among on-premise systems. But as I mentioned, new features must offer value to be valuable, and updates without valuable features are really just maintenance releases.
That's a good point. And one which I think gets to another one of the benefits of true SaaS applications, such as Workday, which is their economies of scale. By having all their customers on the same application instance, workplace doesn't have to maintain dated or disparate code bases. While not all those savings will always be passed down to customers, of course, the fact remains that it does make for an incredibly efficient system. Aside from those system elements, though, I think we'd be remiss if we didn't at least touch on Workday's user interface. I've demoed this solution myself, and I have to say that it is unique in its approach. It's incredibly intuitive, and it's downright fun, as fun as an HR application can really be. What do you think about it? Have you had a chance to look at the user interface?
Oh, many times. And here is where I think Workday really shines. Their application shares some industry-accepted presentation layer attributes with other HCM systems such as SAP, Oracle, Ultimate, and others. But they've carved out some unique space in delivering a compelling user experience. Not only are they keeping pace with web-based technologies and the consumerization of the workforce, but the solution has been built so that customers can easily access the system in whatever workspace they choose. Laptop, tablet, smartphone. They've even got the application embedded into collaboration tools like Salesforce.com's Chatter and Microsoft's Outlook. The Workday user experience really drives home the core tenets of access, engagement, and collaboration, and as you mentioned, is extremely intuitive, which I think is one reason why their user adoption is strong and their implementation cycles are shorter than most.
They've certainly got it all now, don't they?
They've really made some significant progress in a relatively short order. Now, they're still lacking and incurring some big challenges in filling out their financial suite, but judging how SAP and Oracle see them as a significant threat shows they're doing very well.
That's true. Well, listen, I know that we could go on for this at least for a few more hours. We're getting down to the wire on the clock, which means it's time to wrap things up. So before we go, I want to make sure that are there any other last-minute nuggets of wisdom you'd like to impart before we call it a day?
You know, there are a few things that I'd like to leave interested viewers with. First, be cautious of the hype. Workday, like a lot of other companies, has a well-oiled marketing machine behind them and a bevy of pundits that will speak no evil about the company or product. Yes, they have a great product, but that doesn't mean it's the only product that can accomplish what your organization may need. Second, do your homework about software as a service. Much like the hype I just mentioned, companies on both sides of this issue are going to try to get you to believe that their way is the only way or the best way. Some will also raise danger flags when considering pushing mission-critical business systems in the cloud. That's usually just more of what we like to call FUD, or fear, uncertainty, and doubt. Like any other technology or deployment model, SaaS has benefits and it has risks, and you need to evaluate and weigh those against your particular objectives and requirements. And finally, don't go into any HR software selection process without developing a plan first and following a prescribed methodology. HRlab.com has some great resources for this process that I'm partial to, but there are plenty of other information sites that can help with this as well.
Great points, Chuck. And of course, thanks for the HRlab.com shout out. And thank you for joining us in our conversation about Workday's HR software solution today. I hope you'll tune in next time as we continue our assessment of the top solutions and our examination of the intersection of HR, strategies, processes, and technology.